Hello everyone, welcome, my name is Phoenix and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. Marty Supreme, 2025, Josh Safdie. This film follows the life of one Marty Mauser. Shoe salesman by day, Marty's true passion lies in table tennis, whether that be competing or marketing. Due to his uncle not giving him the money to travel to England to compete in the British Open, Marty robs his uncle for the money. Losing in the finals to Japanese ping pong superstar Koto Endo, Marty returns home to his uncle, getting him arrested and giving him an ultimatum. Give up table tennis or go to jail. Deciding that neither is a good option, Marty gives his uncle the slip, a decision that will come to define the rest of Marty's life. So, just before we get started, I know what's going on with Josh Safdie. I address it in an upcoming episode of my podcast, Talking in Two Dimensions. Go check out my podcast. Either way, I'm not going to talk about it here because I talk about it there. Okay. Anyways, after Benny showed what he had with the smashing machine, I naturally had to check out what Josh was doing here. You know, I wanted to see what he was capable of as a solo act. Suffice it to say, regardless of controversies and what have you, Josh knocked it out of the park with this film. This was such a darkly funny and mesmerizing film about obsession and pride. Why I think Josh knocked this one out of the park is because he is more or less continuing what he and Benny were doing with films like Good Time and Uncut Gems. Marty Supreme is a fucking roller coaster of anxiety, and both Josh's directing and writing bring that out. The former presents a visual and auditory style on par with something like Uncut Gems. It starts with a similarly bizarre opening credits sequence of the fertilization process after a sex scene, which brilliantly transitions into a ping pong game. From there on, the editing and cinematography is pretty much quintessential Safdie's. Tight, flowing, full of purposeful and interesting switches and aesthetics, it is absolutely on par with any of his previous work. Every table tennis game was edited perfectly and hid any double work that was being done brilliantly. Returning to score the film is the great Daniel Lopatin, aka One Tricks Point Never. This score has to be some of his most inspired work. Staying in his usual lane, the arrangements often are done with his trademark ethereal synth work. The piece that plays when Koto is introduced starts with this ominous throbbing bass line, with more melodies layering on top to get you just amped. My favorite pieces in this film were these ones that were arranged with string instruments, or I think synths playing string sounds, I can't tell which. During the sequence where Marty and the mobster he fleeced were trying to get back the mobster's dog, these strings provided this operatic and otherworldly vibe, and it's just swept me off my feet. Musically though, it's the licensed soundtrack that is just stealing the show for me. It is nothing but 80s synth banger after 80s synth banger. We get Alphaville's Forever Young to start, then we get fucking Public Image Limited, which just flowed with the score brilliantly. One of the montages was set to New Order, and that one went just hard. The film ends on the rather popular Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears, but that song was really well used, and it fit the ending beautifully. Another impressive element of Safdie's direction was the production design. Shooting in New York and Japan, the sets and the craftsmanship that went into creating an authentic 50s New York was top notch. The buildings, the streets, the costumes all envelop you in Marty's world. I particularly loved the costumes and hairstyling, as Marty was always dressed in these plain-looking suits that were very of the time. Of the little special effects work there was in the film, I was most impressed with the falling tub. That was an incredibly well-coordinated bit of business, and that broken arm looked fucking gnarly. On to the writing, which is the latter reason why this film is such an anxiety-inducing fucking nightmare. Clocking in at 2.5 hours, Marty Supreme feels like a breeze. It keeps you on your toes and it always escalates in stakes. The dialogue in this film is as sharp as Josh's other scripts, and every line either had me howling or had me wondering where they were going to go next. As I have alluded to, the real star of this script is the character of Marty Mauser. Like Connie or Howard in their respective films, Marty Mauser just makes bad decisions after bad decision in this movie for his own ends. In this film, that end is a drive to be the best of the best in table tennis. His sheer arrogance, or in his eyes, confidence, leads him to destroying relationships and creating chaos for the people around him. It even gets the mother of his child shot. Marty does this all for a chance to avenge the loss in the British Open, but by the end, he doesn't even get to do that officially. The Table Tennis Commission bars him from competing in the tournament, and he's only there to put on a show to sell fucking pens. Letting his pride take over one final time, Marty convinces Kodo to play a real round of table tennis. To everyone's surprise, Marty edges a victory out. At the expense of Kodo's confidence going into the World Championship tournament and a lot of people's money, Marty can say to himself that he was the best. With nothing left to prove, or better yet, with nothing to show for it, Marty heads back home. Marty goes to the mother of his child and upon seeing his baby, breaks down in tears, realizing that this was the prize all along. But during this scene, it's the look his mother gives him, just a cold, straight face, that sums it up perfectly. While it's all hunky-dory for Marty, everyone else got shafted by this egotistical prick. While he won in his eyes, everyone else lost. The cast in this film is generally phenomenal and unique. Obviously, though, Marty Supreme himself is the star of the show, and that role is played by the great Timothée Chalamet. This actor just keeps proving why he will be considered one of the greats in due time. Giving an incredible performance, that sheer bravado I mentioned is just so infectious and mesmerizing. You believe Marty believes he's the GOAT, and you are along for the ride with him no matter what he does. He's both funny and detestable, and it's honestly shocking how he didn't get the Oscar for Best Actor. But, you know, Sinners was like the big thing, so whatever. You know, either way, Chalamet was great. But the rest of the cast is just full of both big-name veteran actors and people you wouldn't expect to be in some of these roles. Gwyneth Paltrow comes to mind for the former. She was very charming and reserved in this film. Her delivery was incredibly subtle and conveyed multiple emotions at a time. Plus, her chemistry with Chalamet on screen was incredibly captivating. Odessa A'zion played Rachel in this film, and she gave an incredible lead performance. Holding her own in every scene with Chalamet, her emotional displays were just fireworks. To discuss the latter, the performance that really impressed me was a man credited as Tyler Okonma, but you would know him better as Tyler the Creator. Tyler the Creator was just a fucking natural on screen, and he ate up what screen time he got. Another oddball casting choice was business mogul Kevin O'Leary as Milton Rockwell. Pretty much just playing himself, make of that statement what you will. He was just another man just very comfortable being on camera. My second favorite performance from a non-actor, though, comes in the form of the legendary director Abel Ferrara, and he just gives an A+ mobster performance. Also, my boy Penn Jillette was here as well. He played a solid farmer. Love that guy. Yeah, fucking Marty Supreme fucking slaps. Boasting a performance from Tim Cham that will rank among his best, and Josh continuing that distinct Safdie style, Marty Supreme is without a doubt the best solo Safdie offering so far. One of my favorites of 2025 easily. I hope these brothers one day, sort things out and can look back on this with some level of pride, and that, this can evolve into a form of friendly competition that keeps them hungry. As I really want to see where both Benny and Josh end up after 2025. Highly recommended. I'm feeling a 9.5 out of 10 on this one. This film was fucking great. Catch you later, guys.